Husband deserted me to attend his sister's extravagant wedding. While I was 9 months pregnant, I ruined. So I woke up one morning to find my wife Lisa packing her bags. When I asked her what was going on, she dropped the bombshell. She was jetting off to her sister's wedding in Scotland. Yeah, you heard that right. Her sister's wedding. On the day my second kid was due. Can you believe the nerve? Anyway, I tried to reason with her, but it was like talking to a brick wall. She was dead set on going, saying it was a last-minute thing and there was nothing she could do. Yeah, right. Well, then her mom barged in, yelling at Lisa for dilly-dallying. She grabbed Lisa's bags and practically dragged her out the door. And there I was, standing there like a fool, wondering what the heck just happened. I was left alone with our daughter Lily, who's 5, by the way. I mean, how could Lisa just up and leave like that? She knew I was worried sick about her and the baby, but she didn't seem to care. And her mom? Don't even get me started. She had the nerve to yell at me, like it was my fault Lisa decided to abandon us. I spent the day trying to keep it together for Lily's sake, but inside I was falling apart. I mean, who does that to their own family? It's been 2 months since then, and Lisa still hasn't bothered to apologize or explain herself. She acts like nothing's wrong, like she didn't leave me high and dry when I needed her the most. But you know what? I'm done playing the fool. I've been way too patient with Lisa and her family, but enough is enough. I deserve better, and so does Lily. So I've made up my mind. It's time to cut ties with Lisa and her toxic family for good. I won't let them drag me down anymore. Hey folks, it's been a while since I last checked in. Just wanted to let you know that I'm officially a dad again. We welcomed a baby boy into the world not too long ago. And guess what? Lisa wasn't even here for it. Nope. She was off gallivanting in Scotland, posting selfies like she didn't have a care in the world. Meanwhile, I was left to handle everything on my own. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Because as tough as it's been, I've realized something. I don't need Lisa or her messed-up family in my life. I'm better off without them. So, I've made some big decisions lately. I've filed for divorce and cut all ties with Lisa and her family. And you know what else? I'm not looking back. I've got Lily and our new little guy to focus on now, and nothing's going to stop me from giving them the life they deserve. As for Lisa and her family, let's just say karma's got a funny way of catching up with people like them. I've heard some rumors floating around about them, and let's just say they're getting what's coming to them. And me? I'm just going to sit back with a cold one and enjoy the show. Cheers to a drama-free life. I've also decided to invest more time in my career. With Lisa out of the picture, I've been able to focus on my job without any distractions. And you know what? It's paying off. I've been getting recognized for my hard work, and I even got a promotion last week. Looks like cutting ties with Lisa was the best decision I ever made. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. There have been some tough days, especially when I think about the kids growing up without their mom around. But then I remember how toxic Lisa and her family were, and I know I'm doing the right thing by keeping them out of our lives. And you know what else? I've started dating again. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been out there, but I'm ready to find someone who actually cares about me and my kids. And let me tell you, it feels good to be back in the game. So, that's where I'm at right now. Life's definitely thrown me some curveballs, but I'm handling them like a champ. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Bring it on, world. I'm ready for whatever you've got in store for me. Well, folks, let me give you a little update on the roller coaster that is my life. After that chaotic mess I detailed last time, I had an epiphany. I'd been way too patient with Andrew. 2 weeks after the debacle, we had to go for a scan, and on the way back, I tried to bring up the whole situation, but Andrew just brushed it off, telling me to focus on my health. He seemed normal, which made me feel like he was hiding something. Fast forward to this morning, and I wake up to find Andrew packing his bags. I'm staring at him, bleary-eyed and demanding answers. He casually drops the bomb that he's off to Scotland for his sister's wedding. I'm left dumbfounded. When was this decided? Why wasn't I informed? And how could he leave me on the brink of giving birth? Yeah, you heard that right. I'm due tomorrow. I unleash a barrage of questions, but Andrew's evasive, claiming it was all last minute and unavoidable due to his sister's future in-laws insisting on this date. Baloney. He could have skipped the wedding, right? But no, he was determined to go. And then, as if on cue, the doorbell rings. Who else but his dear old mother barges in, scolding Andrew for being late, dragging his bags out, mocking me in the process. I retreat to my room, seething with anger and disappointment. It finally clicks why Andrew had been so secretive lately. And in the midst of my turmoil, my water breaks. Great timing, huh? I manage to call an ambulance just in time and end up in the hospital, barely conscious. Sarah's there with me, thank goodness. Cut to a whirlwind of events. I give birth to a baby boy, my parents rush to my side, and Andrew's nowhere to be found. Turns out he was busy enjoying his Scottish getaway, blissfully unaware of my struggles. He didn't even call. So when he finally returns home a week later, he finds an empty house, divorce papers, and police charges waiting for him. He's desperate for forgiveness, playing the "our child needs a father" card. But guess what? He didn't even know we had a son until he returned. His mother joins in the melodrama, pleading for mercy to avoid tarnishing their precious reputation. But I'm done with their theatrics. I laugh in their faces and show them the door. And then, a stroke of karma. I reach out to my sister-in-law's new husband, spill the beans about their shady behavior, and watch as their house of lies comes crashing down. Turns out she's been swindling her new family and playing pretend chef. Justice served, with a side of gossip. Fast forward a bit and my divorce is finalized, with me walking away with alimony, a share of the house, and child support. Andrew has 3 months to cough up my share of the house or face auction. And as for the trio of troublemakers, let's just say they're living their best life in the gossip mill, while I sip wine and enjoy the show. Cheers to karma, folks. Cheers to karma. I've also decided to focus on self-care and personal growth. With Andrew out of the picture, I've been exploring new hobbies and reconnecting with old friends. Yoga has become a daily ritual, helping me find peace amid the chaos. And you know what? It's working. I feel stronger and more empowered than ever before. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. There are days when the loneliness creeps in, reminding me of what could have been. But then I look at my beautiful baby boy and remember why I made the choices I did. He's my world, and I'll do whatever it takes to give him the life he deserves. As for Andrew, well, he's been trying to worm his way back into my life, sending flowers, writing letters, the whole 9 yards. But I'm not buying it. I've seen his true colors, and I'm not about to let him hurt me again. So here's to new beginnings and leaving toxic relationships in the past where they belong. I may have been knocked down, but I refuse to stay down. I'm stronger than I ever thought possible, and I won't let anyone dim my light. So here I am, folks. It's been quite a ride since my last update. I've had some time to reflect on everything that's happened. And let me tell you, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. After that incident, I realized I'd been way too lenient with Andrew. I mean, seriously, who does that to their wife? So, a couple of weeks after the whole Scotland debacle, I had to go for a scan, and Andrew tagged along. On the way back, I tried to bring up the situation, but he brushed it off, telling me to focus on my health. I mean, sure, it was good he wasn't holding a grudge, but there was something off about his demeanor. Then, just this morning, I woke up to Andrew packing his bags. I mean, can you believe it? He tells me he's off to Scotland for his sister's wedding. And get this, he drops the bombshell that the wedding is like tomorrow. I was floored. How could he just spring this on me, and leaving me here on my due date with a toddler to take care of? It's just insane. I tried to get some answers out of him, like when was this planned? Why wasn't I told sooner? But he was evasive, to say the least. He said it was all last minute and that he had to go because his sister's future in-laws were insisting on this date. Like, seriously? Couldn't he have put his foot down? And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, the doorbell rings and who shows up? None other than my mother-in-law. She waltzes in, starts barking orders at Andrew, dragging his bags out like it's all no big deal. I was livid, to say the least. So I did what any self-respecting woman would do. I marched back to my room, chucked Andrew's stuff out, and locked the door. I could hear my mother-in-law hurling curses from outside, but I was done with all of them. The next few days were a blur. I was in labor, Andrew was nowhere to be found, and the only solace I had was knowing that my daughter Sarah was safe by my side. The hospital staff was amazing. They took care of us, despite the chaos. When Andrew finally showed up a week later, the house was empty, save for a divorce notice waiting for him. I mean, talk about a wake-up call. And the best part? He had a week to sort things out with the police. Of course, he tried to play the victim, begged for forgiveness, but I wasn't having any of it. I mean, how could I trust someone who didn't even know his own child was born? And his mother was no better, pleading for mercy like she hadn't been part of the problem. In the end, they left empty-handed, and I was left to pick up the pieces. But you know what? I'm stronger for it. I've got my parents and my sister by my side, and I'm not letting anyone bring me down again. And as for Andrew and his family, well, let's just say they've got their own mess to deal with. Turns out their lies caught up with them, and now they're paying the price. And me? Well, I'm just sitting back, sipping my wine and enjoying the show. But amidst the chaos, there were moments of quiet reflection. I found solace in the early morning walks with my daughter, the chirping of birds a soothing melody to my troubled mind. Each step forward felt like a victory, a reminder that I was stronger than the storm raging around me. I also discovered the healing power of journaling. Pouring my heart out onto the pages of a notebook became a cathartic release, allowing me to confront my emotions head-on and find clarity amidst the chaos. And as I flipped through the pages, I saw my journey unfold before me, each word a testament to my resilience and strength. In the midst of it all, I reconnected with old friends who became pillars of support in my darkest hours. Their words of encouragement lifted me up when I felt like I was drowning, reminding me that I was not alone in this battle. Together, we laughed, we cried, and we found joy in the simple moments of life. And through it all, I discovered a newfound sense of purpose. I vowed to never again allow anyone to dim my light or dictate my worth. I was a warrior, a survivor, and I would emerge from this trial stronger than ever before. So here's to new beginnings, to second chances, and to the unwavering strength of the human spirit. Cheers to the future, whatever it may hold. All right, so Harev D TMMs where things really went south. After that mess with my husband jetting off to his sister's wedding while I was ready to pop, I finally hit a breaking point. It was like a switch flipped inside me, and I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay anymore. So a couple of weeks after that whole debacle, I had to go for a routine scan. Andrew tagged along, probably feeling guilty or something. On the way back, I tried to bring up the situation, but he just brushed it off, telling me to focus on my health. It seemed like he was trying to sweep it all under the rug and move on like nothing happened. But I couldn't do that. Then, out of the blue, I wake up one morning to find Andrew packing his bags. I mean, talk about a bombshell. He tells me he's off to Scotland for his sister's wedding. Like, when did this even happen? And why wasn't I in the loop? Plus, leaving me alone on my due date. Classy move, Andrew. Real classy. I bombarded him with questions, demanding answers, but he just kept dodging them. Said it was all last minute, that he had to go because his sister's in-laws insisted. Yeah, right. Like he couldn't put his foot down and say no. Then, as if things couldn't get any worse, the doorbell rings, and who shows up? His mom. Talk about bad timing. She waltzes in, ordering Andrew around like it's nothing, dragging his bags out like she owns the place. And the way she looked at me like I was some kind of inconvenience? It made my blood boil. So I did what any sane person would do. I packed up his stuff, tossed it in the living room, and locked myself in my room with Sarah. Let them deal with their own mess for once. Of course, they left in a huff, but not before hurling a few choice insults my way. Real classy, right? Anyway, I spent the rest of the day trying to keep it together, but honestly, I was a wreck. I mean, who wouldn't be? And the fact that Sarah was there, seeing me like that, it just broke my heart. But you know what? She's the one who kept me going. Her little hugs and innocent words, they reminded me that I had to stay strong for her no matter what. Fast forward a bit, and wouldn't you know it, my water breaks. In the middle of all that chaos, my water breaks. Talk about timing, right? Luckily, Sarah was there to keep me grounded while we waited for the ambulance. Long story short, I end up in the hospital, giving birth to my baby boy. And you know what the kicker is? Andrew didn't even know I'd had the baby. I mean, how messed up is that? So there I am, recovering in the hospital. And who should show up but the police? Yeah, turns out they got wind of the whole situation and wanted to make sure I was okay. They even asked if Andrew had been abusive, which, thank God, he hadn't. But still, it was a wake-up call for me. I realized then and there that I couldn't keep living like this. So when I got out of the hospital, I packed up my stuff, grabbed the kids, and hightailed it out of there. Now here I am, living with my parents, trying to put the pieces back together. And you know what? I'm doing okay. Sure, it's been tough, but I've got Sarah and my little boy to keep me going. As for Andrew, well, let's just say he's getting what's coming to him. I've filed for divorce, and I'm not holding back. He's going to pay for what he did, one way or another. And as for his family, let's just say they've got their own problems to deal with. Turns out they're not as squeaky clean as they like to pretend. Funny how things work out, isn't it? But hey, I'm not dwelling on the past. I'm focusing on the future, on building a better life for me and my kids. And you know what? I think we're going to be just fine. Hey there, folks. It's been a roller coaster ride since my last update. Buckle up, because it's about to get wild. So, after that whole mess, I realized I'd been way too patient with my husband. 2 weeks after that debacle, we had to go for a scan, and Andrew tagged along. On our way back, I tried to bring up the situation, but he brushed it off, telling me to focus on my health. By then, he was acting all normal, but I couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being secretive. Fast forward to this morning. I woke up to Andrew packing his bags. When I asked what was going on, he dropped the bomb that he was off to Scotland for his sister's wedding. You can imagine my shock. When was this decided? How could he leave me on the brink of giving birth? Yeah, I'm due tomorrow. I bombarded him with questions, but he dodged most of them or just mumbled one-word answers. While we were in the middle of this, the doorbell rang. Andrew practically sprinted to answer it like he was expecting someone. Surprise, surprise! It was his mother. She barged in, giving Andrew grief for being late. She even dragged his bags out, saying they could buy whatever they needed in Scotland. It felt like a slap in the face. I wanted to throttle her, but it was too late to stop them. So I did what any sane person would do. I went back to my room, chucked Andrew's stuff into the living room, and locked myself in. I could hear my mother-in-law cursing up a storm, but I tuned her out. Later on, I found out why Andrew had been acting shady. He'd been planning this trip for weeks. It blew my mind how stress-free he was about leaving me alone during such a crucial time. He didn't even bother to call or text me while he was away. And I didn't bother to reach out to him either because I had my own plans brewing. A week after he got back, he walked into an empty house with divorce papers waiting for him. The police had also slapped him with negligence charges. My parents had already packed up my stuff, and I was long gone by then. Andrew begged for forgiveness, saying our child needed a father. But when he couldn't even tell me the gender of our newborn son, I knew he wasn't worth another chance. His mother begged too, talking about their precious reputation. I just laughed in her face. In the end, they were shown the door, and I made sure they didn't lay eyes on my kids. I even reached out to my sister-in-law's new husband and spilled all the beans. Turns out she'd been lying through her teeth about everything. My divorce got finalized, and I walked away with a tidy sum in alimony and child support. Plus, I got my share of the house. And the cherry on top? My sister-in-law's life unraveled too, with her husband finding out the truth about her and her family's shady dealings. So here I am, sipping wine and enjoying the sweet taste of karma, Cheers to leaving toxic people behind and starting fresh, but that's not all. In the midst of all this chaos, I found solace in reconnecting with old friends. We shared stories, laughed, and reminisced about the good old days. It was like a breath of fresh air, reminding me that I wasn't alone in this journey. I also took up painting as a form of therapy. Losing myself in the strokes of a brush helped me channel my emotions and find inner peace. Each painting became a reflection of my journey, capturing both the pain and the hope that filled my heart. And you know what? Despite everything, I've never felt more alive. I've embraced the challenges, learned from the setbacks, and emerged stronger than ever before. Life may have thrown me a curveball, but I've turned it into an opportunity to reinvent myself. So here's to new beginnings, to embracing the unknown, and to never losing sight of the light at the end of the tunnel. Because no matter how dark the night may seem, dawn always breaks, bringing with it a promise of a brighter tomorrow. Well, that's the end of it. Andrew's true colors finally showed, leaving me to deal with the aftermath of his betrayal while on the brink of giving birth. It was a roller coaster of emotions, from anger to sadness to a fierce determination to protect myself and my children. Despite the chaos, I found solace in my daughter's innocent words and the arrival of my baby boy. And while Andrew and his family begged for forgiveness, I stood my ground, knowing that I deserved better. With the support of my parents and sister, I took the necessary steps to ensure our safety and well-being. In the end, justice prevailed. I received alimony, a share in the house, and child support, holding Andrew accountable for his negligence and emotional abuse. And as for his sister and mother, their web of lies unraveled, leading to their own downfall. As I sip my wine and enjoy the gossip, I can't help but feel a sense of satisfaction knowing that I am free from their toxicity. Here's to a new chapter filled with peace and happiness for me and my children. Cheers to moving forward and leaving the past where it belongs. But amidst the drama, there were moments of quiet reflection. I found solace in the early morning walks with my daughter, the chirping of birds, a soothing melody to my troubled mind. Each step forward felt like a victory, a reminder that I was stronger than the storm raging around me. I also discovered the healing power of journaling. Pouring my heart out onto the pages of a notebook became a cathartic release, allowing me to confront my emotions head-on and find clarity amidst the chaos. And as I flipped through the pages, I saw my journey unfold before me, each word a testament to my resilience and strength. In the midst of it all, I reconnected with old friends who became pillars of support in my darkest hours. Their words of encouragement lifted me up when I felt like I was drowning, reminding me that I was not alone in this battle. Together, we laughed, we cried, and we found joy in the simple moments of life. And through it all, I discovered a newfound sense of purpose. I vowed to never again allow anyone to dim my light or dictate my worth. I was a warrior, a survivor, and I would emerge from this trial stronger than ever before. So here's to new beginnings, to second chances, and to the unwavering strength of the human spirit. Cheers to the future, whatever it may hold.